Hello and welcome to the second part of the Slide for Any Percent tutorial series. This video covers the first half portion of episode 1, aka Turning Japanese, and the jobs Photo Op, Breakout, Sushi House Startup, and Something's Fishy. If you haven't watched the first part, I strongly suggest you to do that, since I'll be using techniques that I already explained in the previous video, so I won't go in depth with them in this one. Since you spawn at the exact same location every time after exiting Safe House, let's look at this location more thoroughly. So there's this small cage area on both left and right side of you. So if you hold deep enough angle to left or right after the load has completed, you'll be just end up running towards the corner here. Even though straight after exiting this sewer hole, I guess, whatever, you should be going straight right or straight left, most of the time straight to right. And only with this first job Photo Op straight to left. If I hold directly up left, I will just barely dodge that. But if I hold directly up right, I won't get past that. So when going to this first job, hold 10:30 o'clock from the load, or up left, and then 1 o'clock from the load when you're about to go right. Pretty much almost instantly after you see that the load has completed, you can change the position of your analog stick and start holding like directly right if you would be going to right. One very useless thing in the run, but if there's actually a scenario where you have to kill a guard, this pretty much never happens after getting spotted, and you have low health and you can't die, you can just jump after every single one of those hits, and that's why you don't take damage. But that pretty much never happens if you're doing the strats properly. So, quick lesson on how to dodge shots from episodes 1 and 3 flashlight guards when you come across them. If you just run straight like this, you're gonna get hit every single time. But those projectiles are kind of slow, unlike in Slide 2, where shots from flashlight guards are almost impossible to dodge. Here you can just anticipate when the guard is gonna shoot his projectile and then just do a quick turn to left or right in order to dodge it, like this. Again. There. There. Double. And there. So hold up left, run through this gate, jump here, single jump circle boost, and mash start instantly when you hit the trigger and you see that job has started to load. And skip cinematic, hold up from the load, and instantly when you see that the load has completed, single jump circle boost on the spire point. Also on a side note, you can't mash X and circle right after load. Since there are 2 thief move platforms on both sides, it'll either connect to one of those instead. So wait a little bit and then just single jump circle boost. So you have to take 5 pictures in this job in total, and now I'm gonna tell you a bit of optimal methods how to take pictures in this game and use the binocucom optimally. So if I would be standing on a platform for a slide is standing like this roof, if I open the binocucom from R3, you can see that Sly does that binocucom opening animation, and also there's a much shorter closing animation where Sly's movement is locked. But this animation does not happen when we open the binocucom from any thief object. So when you're standing on a spire point, that animation doesn't happen. When you're attached to a rope, it doesn't happen. When you're walking on a rail, it doesn't happen. So basically the optimal movement in Photo Op centers around skipping as much of these animations as we can. That's why we single jump circle boost on this corner and then double jump extended circle boost on that lantern. Another thing to note, when you open the binocucom, let's see me aim directly at this guard. You can see that even after the binocucom has opened, there's a slight lag for the actual photo taking function, I guess, activate. So during that time you can zoom and you can move the binocucom, and it technically doesn't lose time. That gives you a bit of a time to adjust your zooming and positioning so that you can take the picture pretty much instantly when the feature to take pictures becomes accessible. So with these little subtle optimizations, we can utilize both the binocucom opening animation, since that's basically the reason why we can't take these pictures immediately. The binocucom animation has to finish before we can do that. So let's go over the first 3 pictures now. Single jump, circle boost, zoom, take the picture. Double jump, extended circle boost. Aim to the tree. The prison is behind that tree. And here I'll note that this jump can be quite tricky and needs a proper angle. And since you don't have Paraglider, you're just gonna end up falling in the water if you miss that jump. So definitely feel free to jump here and then just double jump here. This is a nice and easy alternative strat. So the next objective is to get to that roof. And the first method is to jump on this pole and then this fire point here. Or the second is to just single jump on this platform and then single jump on this fire point. Either way works. If you're jumping on that pole, you can start jumping while you are between these 2 fields of moss. Note that if you're using the pole strat, you can't press circle instantly after letting go of the pole, because you'll either grab the pole again or then land on this lamp post instead. Third strat is to just double jump over this ledge. Feel free to use the one that works the best for you. Like right there, the timing for that jump was a bit off, so I actually failed that double jump strat. But anyways, let's go. On that roof, double jump, and here you can open the binocucom after you pass this leaf. And then you can open like this. Haha, you can take the Dragon Gates picture all the way from here. So you can't take the picture when you're standing on that leaf, but you definitely can take it from this red leaf already instead. So if you're getting coins, the route for the first 3 pictures is following.
These guards look like real bruisers.
Here the tree can be on your way, but that's considered bad RNG.
These guards look like real bruisers.
And real ugly too.
Like this, there it took a moment for me to get the Imperial Prison picture.
Like the look of that place.
Something tells me
Now I got a frame jump there again. Now there can be guards on this roof, and after the Dragon Gates picture, you mash start in order to restart checkpoint. We basically warped from really far all the way over here. So let's see if there's guards over here. If a guard spawns on this top platform, that can be an issue. But this crane guard is not even that bad. The monkey guard can actually just snipe you instantly, like here. Instant snipe. If you see a monkey guard that is about to spot you instantly when you jump on the roof, always hit him. Always just smack his ass. Okay, that's the route you do if you got the Paris loot, but what if you didn't? What if you're still looking to get that 100 coins by the end of this job? Well then, now, an important thing to note. You see this guard has loot? If you see that flashlight guard having loot, then you can just go and freaking take it if you did not get loot in Paris already. Now watch this. 100, easy. But now let's show the treasure route. So instead of holding up, you can actually just hold up left or left and mash X and circle in order to jump on the chimney that I just showed you can jump on. Aim the camera over here. The guard can be behind that gate, but usually doesn't matter for too long. This uses a bit of zoom, this picture right here. Remember to turn the camera prematurely, so it won't take too much time for taking the pictures. Like here, turn the camera even more right after opening the binocucom. So then there's this platform over here. Single jump, and you're trying to jump on this branch, but it might not work that well every time. Now I jumped on that, but there we go. That's the branch jump. That's pretty precise actually. So here, if you want to dodge that bouncy pole, then don't jump from here. Jump more like here, from this purple leaf. Here, mash circle to jump here, but do not hold forwards the entire time because you'll end up missing that platform and get a bad landing instead. So kinda let go of your left analog stick for a brief moment there. So that's how you land on that earlier roof and not the ground. So this treasure indeed is called Gyro Slicer 2000. And there you saw me dodge the shot from that guard. You can actually end up landing on that other spire point, which is fine. Not that optimal though. So after this, hold directly right and double jump on this lamppost, then double jump here. Don't care about that guard, and take the picture. Of course, that guard is eventually gonna snipe you, but you have plenty of time there. So this is where you actually can take the picture, and you can even be a bit more left. It'll still take it, even though the lanterns is on the way. So basically, just run until you once again reach that pile of moss, and you can definitely take it there. And once again, mash start after taking this picture in order to restart checkpoint. So take a look at what happens to the camera. It kind of pans out and Sly spawns facing in a completely wrong direction. So our objective is to land on this bamboo tree and then take the picture. In order to do so, from the load you have to hold like kind of 4 o'clock, and with the second jump you want to be holding 1 o'clock actually. So when doing the double jump circle boost input, change from 4 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and then already adjust the camera in the way that you can take the picture instantly. After taking the picture, jump off the bamboo tree,
I love sushi.
jump down, and when you pass this rock here, this first rock, not the shadow, this here, that's when you can take the picture of the geisha house, which is over here. So overall, jump off, jump down, rock, R3, zoom, take a picture. After taking a picture, mash start in order to skip cinematic. When we're trying to take this El Jefe picture, we can't just press R3 instantly from the load. Or well, we can, but it's pretty hard and you won't have much time to do that. So instead, I just recommend you to hold up left from the load while holding R1, and instantly when you see the load has completed, then press R1. You're in a much better location, and if you keep holding up left and just keep zooming, it gives a pretty optimal zooming speed for you in order to take the picture pretty much instantly if you just aim towards El Jefe with the right analog stick. So R3, zoom, instant picture. And that's it for photo op. So then there's just an unskippable cutscene, a job complete animation, and a load taking you back to the safe house. And after the load, you're gonna get greeted with another info box screen, this time asking for a van job replay. And here, since we're about to go to the thief net, we're actually going to mash both circle and triangle from the load, because triangle is the button that you use to enter thief net. So let's do that. Mash X to buy a Paraglider, and then if you got the 500 loot, also buy Adrenaline Burst. After you have bought everything you need, mash circle and then X, like this. And we're off to Breakout. Since we have now obtained Paraglider, we're gonna start with the Paraglider physics observation, and I'm gonna talk about how you should use Paraglider optimally in this game. So, as in slide 2 and 3, you open Paraglider by pressing R1, and it'll be in use until you let go of R1. There are plenty of differences between slide 2 and 3 Paraglider. So first off, the speed. It's 7.5, which is equal to jumping speed, single jumping speed. So that means in straightforward movement, we don't want to hold on the Paraglider and keep it open until we reach the ground. No. But on the other hand, if we don't use Paraglider at all, we're gonna get that bad landing. So when dropping down from high altitudes, we're just gonna use Paraglider to cut those bad landings. Also in slide 2 and 3, if you just tapped R1 button. If you just tap the R1 button and instantly let go of it, you won't see that big of a decrease in downwards momentum. But in this game, just tapping R1 causes Sly lose a much bigger portion of that downwards momentum. If you would just tap R1 in slide 2 and 3, you wouldn't even notice any difference in your downwards momentum. And then the final difference. So regardless of the direction I would be holding my analog stick when opening the Paraglider, Sly is just gonna continue moving to the direction he was facing right before opening the Paraglider, no matter what. So I'm gonna demonstrate this by doing a double jump backwards, and I'm gonna keep holding left analog stick backwards. But what is the direction I'm gonna get sent when I open Paraglider? Forwards. And this is completely unavoidable, so keep this in mind. But there's one key similarity between slide 2 and 3 Paraglider, and that is the fact that if you press X for the second time, for the double jump input, exactly at the same time when you open Paraglider. Well, it doesn't have to be same time, just slightly before you press R1, you're gonna get the max height. So it's kind of like a circle boost, but with Paraglider. But it's a very useful information since there will be some gaps, some biggish gaps you need to cross. And if it seems like, wow, that gap was just too big, I can't cross that gap, it means that I was likely using this little strategy. Also, one last thing. For reasons we cannot explain, if you are using an SD output, standard definition output from your PS3, either 480 or 576, then the Paraglider will lose height quicker than with the HD definition, which means you can't cross certain gaps that are crossable with 720p HD output. So please play in HD. And now I'm gonna do even another little tutorial. This is for paraclimbing. So the Paraglider power-up gives us the ability to climb up slopes. And this climbing technique is referred as paraclimbing. So basically when you come across a wall that is not like 100% vertical, then you can climb up that wall or a slope. Slope jumping is known in Sly 1, 2, and 3 as well, and of course even in Sly 4, if the slope is not that high, then you can just jump up that slope even with a double jump or even a single jump. But of course with the Paraglider, this is pretty easy. So what do you have to do? So in order to paraclimb efficiently, well, you can mash R1, but what I do is that I just time my R1 inputs. It's just about if you want to preserve your energy. So let's go to Breakout, and there are basically two main routes that break even that you can use to get to the trigger, and I'm gonna show them both. So route 1, hold 1 o'clock from the load and jump from here on the railing on the bridge, and when you reach that pile of moss, then jump on the spire point, and there you go. If your line of movement is straight enough, you could just land on that rope and then single jump the second jump. Or you can go over the bridge. This is a much simpler route. It's slightly slower by like 0.3%, but it's pretty decent. Mash start when you enter the job to skip the cinematic. Hold 12, 30 o'clock from the load, single jump circle boost on that spire point, and paraglide on the ground. Ignore the guards, and just run straight. And the first guard you have to loot is there. Aim to run over that purple leaf, and when you're in the shadow, jump between the guard and that... what even is that supposed to be? A drum. Now with this route there should never be any other guards present here, but even if there were, like even if there would be like a small guard over here, you can see that the guard that actually holds the armor piece will not pay any attention to you, even if he's awake and not asleep. This is kind of ridiculous, but it's a fact. So if there's a guard nearby, it doesn't matter. This is actually insane. I'm not failing the job. But of course, instantly if I go too near to the guard, touch it, instantly a job fail. So in total, purple leaf, shadow, jump between the drum and the pocket, and a hold like right. Yeah.
You got the helmet.
But what if actually you will get shot here?
Good job, Sly. You got the helmet.
Like this. You get sniped, and you see that after getting sniped, Sly is kind of slow to get up. So if you will get sniped, a nice method is to just press X instantly when you land to jump.
Good job, Sly. You got the helmet. You won't get away.
So here, a slightly faster but a bit more riskier method is to jump on the roof. Just running behind the building is a lot easier and safer method, because there might be a guard on that roof. When jumping on the roof, be careful to not hold forward and open paraglider instantly, because you ledge grab like that. So just don't open paraglider too quickly, and then land over here, and do not hold R1 when you land. So then get this one over here and mash start in order to restart checkpoint. This will get you back where you started from, and you have to go to that direction. So hold 4 o'clock from the load and jump pretty much instantly after the load has been completed, because otherwise you'll fall down. and then just run straight. This is pretty easy. Here, yeah, just run past that guard. There might be a guard here later down the path. If there is a guard all the way over here, then I'm gonna show you how to do it. There might be a guard here too. Do not hit that guard, otherwise you'll have to dodge a shot. So right now there's a flashlight guard here. If there's any guard, flashlight or rooftop guard, smack his ass. He's gonna make you fail the job if you don't. And then just loot the final armor piece. You can see the guard trailing you in the background. They don't move within cutscenes. So after this animation, pause. Instantly pause and restart checkpoint. You've got the checkpoint, and now hold up left and mash X and circle from the load and do your paraglider boost, I guess, from here. Single jump on the lantern, and when you reach the height of your jump, equip the samurai armor from L2. Or rather, not the height of your jump. Let's just say right after you have seen that Sly has started to drop down a little bit. That's when you want to put on the samurai armor. So then there's an unskippable cutscene and a load. After the load, hold up.
You might want to put on that armor before the guards spot you.
Imperial Prison. This is the hardest stage to do fast consistently in this entire game. The strats, the most optimal strats that have been founded are extremely advanced, so I'm gonna show a lot of alternative strats. Note that every time when you get spotted, you'll fail the job. But when you're in the samurai costume, of course, they won't spot you. So here's the beginner level route. You hold kind of like right here, you go across that light, jump behind that guard, take him out, and then here, you wait that guard to spot you, and then you double jump over his light. You might be lucky here, and the guard might fall into sleep here, and then you can just sneak up this guy's ass and kill him.
That samurai armor should do the trick here. I must have read about him in
This is very easy. It's very easy to jump over that light. Second hardest strat, you paraglide past this dragon statue and the invisible wall, and then you take the guard out. So note that you can't just jump over this dragon that easily. There is an invisible wall here, but you can still dodge it. This is a tricky jump. You need a lot of practice probably with it. You might get this jump with a ledge grab or ledge grabless, and it's quite hard to tell which of those outcomes is gonna happen, so be careful. You gotta practice this a bunch in order to know exactly what you're doing each time and what will happen with this jump. I tend to sometimes take the ledge grab intentionally in order for me to do that strat that I just did more consistently. So the fastest strat here actually doesn't kill the guard. It alerts him by running just basically one step forwards, and then the guard will turn and you can jump over his light. You literally need to move like 1 inch while you're holding R1 button down in order for that guard to notice you. Alternatively, you can also go left here. That guard might even fall into sleep.
You might want to put on that armor before the guards spot you.
Like this. It's a kind of a riskier strat and relies a bit more to RNG, but damn it. But of course you can also kill that guard like this.
that samurai armor should do the trick here. Rioichi Cooper. I can't believe it.
I think that's it for that portion. Skip cinematic. Now, you'll spawn like this, so hold 1 o'clock from the load to alert the guard. With this guy, you don't actually have to alert him. You can just jump over him like that, and then keep jumping until you reach this crawl space. But you can also just keep running like this. Jump this first jump, and then keep holding R1. And hold R1 when you enter this vent, when you press the circle button to crawl. Here too. It seems that you'll preserve a bit of this momentum into this crawl space. So, 1 o'clock, jump, jump, run, crawl, run, crawl. And now we're gonna do this section here, and right after this, we'll come over here. And I'm gonna do this fast instantly, and I'm gonna explain what happens afterwards. Now here, there are more guards, and you'll die from these. spikes, by the way, instantly. Now here we can once again use Paraglider to dodge these guards and then jump over that torch. So indeed, after you get past those guards, you will come across a section where there will be a lot of fire everywhere and swinging axes. And that's where the time saver Paraglider really comes into play here. And with these jumps, wait for slide to turn a bit, because otherwise you would paraglide straight into that guard's slide. So here, so since the samurai armor is fireproof, you can use it to get past these fire traps. But as you can see, that platform is relatively close, so you can just paraglide to it. We want to use the samurai armor as less as possible, since it has a unit speed of 3.5, which is like super slow. So jump across, but I recommend you to keep running because there's another fire trap right there, and if I go a bit more forwards, I'll get burned. Although it goes away when you go far enough from it. You can see it triggering and going away. So once again, the casual route goes from over here, but we can reach that area with the paraglider. Beware of the swinging axes, of course. My rule of thumb for when to go for it is when that second axe starts swinging backwards or away from you. When you see it going down, like now, that's when you start. So the entire thing in motion. Wait, now. Now this section is very difficult. How are you gonna make any sense of that? So this is how I recommend you to do this as a beginner and even as a rather experienced runner. So see this gap right here, paraglide to that, and then double jump and equip the samurai armor in the air, and then just wait for these axes to go by. And when you hear the voice line by Bentley, paraglide on this platform. Now for shits and giggles, I'm gonna show a few tough backups. That's one. And this is another one, but keep in mind that these are somewhat inconsistent. They're kinda axe cycle dependent. Now if you're brave enough to do this strat, when you actually should not, and you actually can't reach this platform, well then you can still do an insane little backup here with paraclimbing, and you can just freaking make it without dying. The full armorless strat here pretty much never works unless you died before that, because of the freaking axe cycles not lining. This is pretty much the hardest part of this entire job, so definitely feel free to just do it the casual way. Even I do it if I see that something, even the slightest thing, is gonna fuck up for sure. So once more, just go through. You're not in a hurry. Wait for the voice line, and let's move on. So here, a paraclimb strat. So here is a perfect slope that you can paraclimb. This is a much more simple paraclimb than it would seem. I just literally do not touch the camera and hold up on the analog stick. Really easy. Now if you don't want to do the paraclimb strat, then just paraglide behind that guard, and now you pretty much gotta use the samurai armor here. And sometimes you just won't be able to get enough height. So how to avoid a job fail? And you need a pretty hefty amount of height for this. Like this is not enough. The guard is gonna spot me. If you see you're not gonna get enough height like this, then just react quickly and put on the samurai armor before the guard is gonna spot you. So let's move forwards. How? So here more flamethrower dragons are gonna spawn, and in order to jump over these, of course, feel free to use the armor to get past these. This looks kind of insane, but what I do in order to get past those fires is that I aim to this corner right here, and when I reach that corner, I'm gonna do a double jump and open paraglider, and I'm gonna keep it open for just a tiny tad longer than it would be open normally if I just tapped R1. And then with the second jump, there I'm just gonna tap R1. I'm not gonna keep it open for that long. I don't need to do that anymore. So there we go. So Paraglider, hold, tap. And here the normal route would look like this. But with the technique I told you about earlier, where you basically press the double jump input and open paraglider at the same time, you can just aim pretty much straight and get up on that wall already by doing a wall sneak thief move on this platform behind that waterfall, like this. Instantly when you see blue sparks, that's when you're gonna press circle. And there we go. Once again do a cane jump here, and let's get to the next cutscene, which is there. So here you can single jump across or paraglide across, whatever works. Skip cinematic, and after this load there is probably gonna be a guard who's holding your light against you, yes. And this is there pretty much every time when you're on an optimal pace, but sometimes with a slight possibility the guard might be sleeping, and then you don't have to use the samurai armor, but basically every time you have to use it. So remember that there's a guard right in front of this place you spawn at, and there's no fast method to get around this. The guard's slight without using the armor costume. So as a whole, and then loot the guard. And you're gonna want to hold 5 o'clock after this animation and mash circle to skip the cinematic. After skipping that cinematic, the view you get is like this, and there's another cutscene right after. So you're just gonna want to hold left from the load and then instantly pause the game before even the Sly logo has went off the screen from the fade out animation. So it's like less than a second. There. That's the first frame I got it, and it says skip cinematic there. Let's see what the start of the cutscene looks like. It looks like that. And then hold left again, but instantly stop holding left and instead start holding forwards. So the samurai armor has one more function, and that's the shield function. Note that you cannot hold it forever. I'm just holding square here, but eventually it'll let go of it. But yeah, this shield can deflect fireballs efficiently throughout the entire blocking animation. So I can let go of square right before the fireball hits me like this, but it also works the other way around. You saw the animation was pretty much ended, but it still worked. When this feature gets added to the fact that you can't swap out of the costume when this animation plays, like right here I'm mashing L2 all the way, but I won't get the costume swap before the animation has finished. So when the fireball deflection starts going to the other direction, we want the deflection animation to be nearing the end of its cycle, so we can swap out the costume and move to the next platform as quickly as possible. The first dragon doesn't matter, yeah, that's true. But the second does. Note that if you fall down, you'll actually spawn at the start. So this is the entire section. Paraglide over these platforms. Don't use the thief moves, you don't have to. Paragliding is faster. So let's go through the entire thing. First deflection, doesn't matter. Platform spawns under you. Another platform spawns, and that can't happen if you're just slightly too fast. Fucking hell, okay.
Hold on, Rioichi. You won't be a prisoner much longer.
Don't go that fast. And then this final platform does spawn here, but you can reach that next fire point all the way from this platform. But let's assume that you wouldn't. Well then, this platform still spawns under you. So instantly when you see that you missed this jump, then I recommend you instantly start holding down on your analog stick, like this. So you'll actually still hit that platform and not fall. And the end trigger is here, so that's it. And after the load there will be another cinematic, so be ready to mash the circle button in order to skip it. Like this. And even after skipping the cinematic, keep mashing circle, because there will be another screen that is once again talking something about ThiefNet. So circle X, and let's go to Sushi House Startup. So here, hold 1 o'clock from the load, since we're going right, but not behind the safe house. So after 1 o'clock, start holding up right, and not like directly right in order to go behind the safe house. Gotta remember to hit this obstacle, because otherwise you would be running straight at it. And that also deals you damage if you blow that up when you're being too close to it. That little gas tank or something. So remember that optimally this is a double jump and this is a single jump, but pretty much doesn't matter. And go to the trigger. Smash start, skip cinematic, and hold about 1 o'clock from the load. Cut the bad landing with Paraglider and equip the armor right before entering the light. Now we have an unskippable cutscene and a load. After the load, mash start in order to skip a cinematic, and after skipping the cinematic, hold up and press X and circle, like this. You can even mash X and circle from the load. But before going any further with this, we're gonna go through Rioichi's movement. So Rioichi, from a build standpoint, is a copy of Sly. He's got a few special attacks, like a few power-ups by default, like you can move with the cane spin, and you have this super attack, and Rioichi also has a silent sprint, which is very handy. No guards will notice you when you run past them. But Rioichi doesn't have Paraglider, nor does any other ancestor. And then of course he has that special move that if he is standing on a spire point, then you can press R2 and load a dragon leap that you launch with pressing X. You can select this target with an arrow. One kind of peculiar thing with the dragon leap is that the animation length, like the time it takes for Rioichi to get from point A to point B with this dragon leap technique, is always the same regardless of the distance. Like this travel time is the exact same than this travel time. That didn't even seem fast. But anyways, in a speedrun, this kind of a horizontal speed is just great to have on a character. Now there's one small annoying thing with this dragon leap, and that comes to play if you're spotted at some point, but you pretty much never are as Rioichi when playing in any percent, so I don't know if that's that important to explain. But basically, if you're spotted and you land on a spire point when you were already holding R2, in that situation you can't spin on the spire point and select more than one target. But anyways, so the route looks like this. And here, when landing on this roof, do not hold the left stick forwards when you're trying to jump over here the entire time you're airborne, because otherwise you'll miss the roof. So, land on that roof, circle boost, jump over here, and then just jump behind that guard and get the knife. If the guard is sleeping, one additional jump is not needed. So after this animation, hold kind of like downwards and then trigger the cutscene from circle and skip the cinematic. And after the load, hold up left and mash X and circle. Now here this guard might just not be asleep, and that's usually a big time loss to RNG, unfortunately. Now here you can see him doing rather quick cycles, but sometimes the cycles are really long. So here you can just hold R2 and just mash X. This is a rather precise jump, but just jump over the light. It's not that hard, just practice it. So once you can hold down, trigger the cutscene from circle, and once again hold up left and mash X and circle from the load, but you gotta wait for that laser to go pass by. Here, double jump on the bamboo when you pass this pillar. Like this. Climb like an inch, and after that you can double jump on the spire point. Mash X, single jump, circle boost, single jump, circle boost, mash X. So here, basically right after Rioichi has crossed this line, single jump circle boost. But of course you gotta wait the cycles a bit. And here we're attempting to start looting that guy instantly when we fall on the ground from this little tree here. But let's see what happens if I land while holding the left analog stick neutral. You saw that lag that it took for me to actually pickpocket the guard. But let's see what happens if I just slightly move my analog stick instantly after landing. Rioichi actually picked the pocket instantly. So hold 4 o'clock after this animation.
Okay, now circle.
So after triggering this cutscene by pressing circle, skip the cinematic, and after this load all you gotta do is to mash circle, because as we can see when I actually show what's going on, is that we are literally right next to the end trigger. So when I actually mash circle, you won't even notice that there was any gameplay to be seen in the end here. So once again, unskippable cutscene, and a load that brings us back to the safe house. And once again after this load, you will get greeted with another info pop-up screen. So first mash circle when entering the hideout, and then X. ThiefNet, yes, very nice to know. So circle X. And now we're gonna play with Murray, and we're gonna go to the job called Something's Fishy. A second job is also available, but due to hideout menuing, we opt to do Something's Fishy before Pretty in Pinker. The job trigger for this job is located basically behind the safe house, and we're gonna go behind the safe house from the right side of it, from Murray's perspective right now. So hold 1 o'clock from the load, and then instantly right in order to go behind the safe house. And there might be 1 to 2 guards. I'm gonna show a couple of scenarios here. So that guard is on that position, never to be worried about, and then this guy dodged a shot like that. Okay, is this it? So there's the one situation where getting sniped is unavoidable. So do not mash start when you enter this job, because there's an unskippable cutscene. And as usual, unskippable cutscenes end with a load. And we're gonna go to the first alter ego hack in this tutorial series. I don't have that much things to say about this hack. It's an auto-scroller hack mostly. Just don't be bad, you know, don't suck. So these hacks are complete auto-scrollers except the ending. But of course you can lose time in other ways too. But those are like stupid tier time losses. The only thing realistically that you're gonna save or lose time on in these alter ego hacks is the final boss at the end. With those bosses we can execute this so-called early kill. So I'm gonna do an early kill right here. I'm gonna position my projectiles so that they are completely horizontal, and then I'm gonna just go in the boss's face like this. So there's a little invincible period for the boss right when it becomes visible. At that point you don't want to be like right at his face, because you need a kind of a high level in order to pull the quick kill off. You need to enter the boss fight with like max levels or very high levels, because otherwise you won't be shooting projectiles fast enough. And the fact that you'll take damage a couple of times, that you drop your levels from 10 to 7 or 10 to 6 during that very quick little boss fight is kind of meaningless. It doesn't matter as long as you get the quick kill. So don't be afraid of the mini boss, just shove yourself inside that eye and you should get it pretty consistently. So one little quick thing I can mention, the possibility of this happening is not that prevalent in this alter ego hack, but in some hacks if you're like really close to this portion of the screen, sometimes it might kind of think that you're left behind even though you were just basically too much ahead, so you get sent back for like no reason and you lose all your levels. So that's kind of brutal, so don't be stupid and be like at the very edge of the screen. So let's study this boss a bit. There it's invincible, there it's not. There it's invincible again. And there it's not invincible. And now it's gonna do a longer cycle than that. So you're gonna lose like a few seconds if you don't get the early kill in this hack. And that's pretty much the same thing with all the hacks. You just lose one cycle, you just lose a few seconds, except in episode 2 Operation, which is quite lengthy. But anyways, after the alter ego hack, hold up. You're gonna spawn straight as Murray inside the sashimi caverns, and press circle and lift the gate. You don't need like super intense smashing here in order to go optimally. After the fade out, mash start in order to skip the cinematic, and after the cinematic, hold up once again, or slightly upright, but pretty much up only. And then after lifting this gate, hold up, since you can move, and then 1, 2, and 3. And right before you're gonna hit the ground on the 3rd time, then you're gonna pause the game and skip cinematic. And after the cinematic, those bugs are gonna spawn, and where they are gonna spawn is random. It's basically RNG. You're gonna get freaking shocked like this, so very inconvenient. So the casual strat here would be to hit this and then go across. But you know what, we're speedrunners, so we're gonna just go straight through those bugs before they have time to spawn all of them. Like this. So hold up from the load, instantly jump, and if you're unlucky you will get zapped even before you make the platform. And this is pretty bad. So when you try to go for the fastest strats, this split is rather RNG heavy. So here I didn't get zapped even once, so the strat is to just run straight. Here I did get zapped once, so the strat is to run straight for the first set of spike, but then jump left. And here, jump, jump, don't jump, 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 and complete YOLO. So here the casual strat would be pick up this rock and throw it over there, and then jump. But instead, if the RNG is good and there are no bugs flying around, then you can just jump here without tossing the rock. But you kinda need some good luck here. So let's keep going. Jump from the edge to this spider web. Feel free to double jump this if you feel like you're not gonna make it. And then here, do a belly flop. Second belly flop. Jump on that platform. And here, do not pause until you see Murray's health bar, because if you pause before that and you restart checkpoint, you basically didn't skip anything. So if I would not restart checkpoint here, there would be a tutorial here, but we want to skip that lengthy tutorial, and that can be done by restarting checkpoint. And now the minigame starts immediately. So motion controls, just mash X, be ready for that fish to be loaded completely. Now I'm not gonna mash it, and you clearly saw it. This is pretty RNG heavy. This is actually pretty chaotic sometimes. So here basically the fishies don't swim that quickly unless you actually catch one. Then they speed up their pace insanely much. So I guess the best you can do in terms of anticipating what is gonna happen is to keep an eye on those fishies who actually react to another fish getting pulled up, and then those fishies who do not react, who are still swimming slowly. So what exactly is a good time for this minigame? Well, I'd say like 56 is like God tier, 53 is still like very good, above 50 is still good, like a 48 or a 47 is pretty much below average, and 46 and below is bad.
This one's huge. No, pal.
Yeah, that big-eyed bug eater. Yeah, scrumptious long-nosed snorkeler.
So that was a 54 minigame. After finishing the minigame, hold up and start jumping as Murray, because as we know, jumping as Murray is faster than walking speed. And Murray has pretty much the same speeds with walking and jumping, even when carrying objects. And here, a very important thing to note here. As you can see here, I can throw this bag of fishes from all the way from here. And what I recommend you to do is that instantly when this bag of fishes touches the cart, pause the game and restart checkpoint, like this. You can see the autosave icon, so you got the checkpoint. But this is not the fastest strat. Now, the fastest strat would actually be this. And then you pick this up and continue moving along. But once again, that's a pretty RNG heavy route. And it only saves like 1 second to restarting checkpoint, so that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna spawn over here. So after restarting checkpoint, hold up and do not jump until like half a second after the area has loaded again. And then just keep jumping, throw it, try to get around without taking that much damage. There might be some bugs nearby that are really annoying, and sometimes even clutch to dodge around. Like right there, a bug was very, very close. That's kind of scary sometimes. These cycles are consistent, by the way, so you don't have to worry about that. If your pace is the same every time, then they are consistent, because they load in at certain times. Well, there I got through pretty easily. But that's about it for this job. And the furthest distance where you can throw fishes to the cart is around here. Unskippable cutscene, a load, back to the safe house. See you next time with the latter portion of episode 1. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and all that sellout stuff, and we'll see you in the next one.